Hello. All right. Hello. Trying to set up in the home studio in the proper way. I think this is pretty decent. Maybe. Hey everyone. Yes. Kind of good. Hey yogis. Let's just take a few minutes to let people sign in. I'll maybe say this a few times as more and more people come on, but if you have the possibility in your home to be nearby a wall for your practice, that would be absolutely wonderful. We will be doing a posture with legs up the wall. If you have a chair or a low table or something, you can also rest your legs on that. So, if possible, go nearby a wall for your practice. And I've put the playlist down here. I've put it in a pinned comment. So if you want to listen to music on another device, you can go ahead and find that. Regarding props, I'm so lucky I have blocks in my own home. You don't necessarily need to have blocks today for your practice. But if you want to, you can grab some cookbooks or something that can help you elevate in some of the postures. Beside that, maybe finding a blanket of some sort that you can fold up and sit on, and a big pillow or two. Alright, let's just take one more minute, see if more people want to join. Like I said, just gather all the props around you, and maybe if possible in your home, see if you can come close to a wall for your practice, as we will be doing a legs up the wall posture later in the sequence. Okay, while people are logging on and off a little bit, those of you that do want your music, this playlist is here for you. And we can slowly just start the practice, and whilst we're in the seated landing, people can join. Okay, so feel free to come to sit on a blanket or a pillow. Maybe you have your favorite way to do it in your home. And if you do want music, let's start the playlist in 3, in 2, and in 1. Playing, opening with S.E. Jane. And whether you have music or not, let's all come to a comfortable seat. You can take a mudra, shin mudra, with your thumb and your index finger, and maybe just resting the hands to point down today, letting your energy go more internal in all this quarantine chaos. Letting this next hour just be perfectly for you. And here to begin with, just taking a moment to close down the eyes. And without changing or doing too many different things, Just observe for a moment here. Observe where to your breath travels. Is it lingering in your chest? Or does it travel all the way down to your belly and your hips? And for this practice, trust that there is no right or wrong way to breathe or to be. For your yin practice, know that just the fact that you are sitting right here with me and other people in their living rooms is already more than enough. And gently put the attention towards your physical body. Let's start from the legs. Can you let them be heavy down to the floor, no matter how you are seated? Can you let them rest? And following the attention up to your belly and your hip area. Can you soften this area and almost feel your breath just naturally having space to go all the way down there? And letting the breath travel up towards the chest, the shoulder area, and letting the shoulders soften a little bit down your back. Getting a feeling that there's an energy going down over you, allowing you to soften into your body. And then eventually letting the attention travel all the way up to your facial muscles. Can you let the forehead soften? That spot in between the eyebrows. Can you give that spot a little break in this moment? Can you let the eyelids soften? Get a little heavier, going down over your face. Maybe creating a little bit of space between the lips and the teeth. Relaxing the jaw muscle. As we sit here completely relaxed, being in our bodies, let's do a few rounds of Samavriti Pranayama, equal breath to slow down the body a little bit more. All together, let's take an inhale for 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, for 3, for 4. Beautiful. Holding the breath for 2, for 3, and 4. Deep and slow inhale for 2, for 3, 4. Hold your breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 2, 3, 4. Last round. Deep and long inhale for 2, 3, 4. Holding your breath. You got this. For 2, 3, 4. Exhaling, slowing the body down for 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for 2 and 3, 4. Beautiful work. Just letting the breath get back to normal. Maybe noticing if the normal neutral breath has changed its ways. Does it travel differently in your body? If you feel already a little slower and more tired, then know that that is okay. This is your space for that. Slowly let the palms come together in front of your heart. Just gently pressing palms in towards one another, acknowledging the right and the left side, the dark and the light, the soft and the hard. And acknowledging that without your yin practice, the yang practice does not exist, and the other way around. So let this practice honor all the rest of the yang energy that is in your life, in practice, on the street, in the supermarket right now. Let this be a practice to cope with all of that, to balance all of that out. Taking a final deep breath here, and then slowly on your exhale, fluttering the eyes open gently, and we will move into our first more actual yin posture. So from here, I'm going ahead and moving the blanket that I was sitting on. And we will be starting in butterfly. Today's practice is revolving around a lot of grounding postures. I think this might be necessary. Let's see. Grounding postures that is allowing us to be heavy towards the floor. So therefore we start in butterfly. You might know it where you bring the feet up very close and put quite a bit of tension in the groin area But for yin, just give yourself some space, put the feet further ahead. And then you can simply fold forward here. Some of you will maybe find it more than enough to just sit like this. Or maybe you build up a little fort in front of you with your pillows or your blog, your cookbooks, whatever you have handy. Just come into a forward fold as relaxed as possible. And take a few breaths to adjust your position. And then eventually settling into this stillness. First of all, stillness in the body. And stillness in the breath. And eventually stillness in the mind. Just letting your body soften down. From toe, hip, shoulder, and neck. See if you can soften the belly. And just allow that belly to shape in whatever way it wants to. Like that, you can maybe melt a little further forward. Allowing the shoulders to roll forward. Just letting the body be as passive as possible. See if you can melt a little further forwards and down. And then taking final 3 deep breaths, staying soft in the body, in the mind, knowing that your posture is perfect right now. Last breath. And then depending on how many blocks you have in front of you, how many props, just letting your hands grab sort of around them and come on hands or fingertips into floor. And just gently pressing yourself backwards and upwards. Do it really gently. Be soft for the body when we lift ourselves out of the practice. Coming all the way out of the pose, taking a deep inhale in your seat and an exhale out the mouth. From there, moving whatever props you may have in front of you, and just take your time. If I'm too fast for you, never mind, do it your way. Bring the hands to the knees and then lean back a little as you bring the knees up towards one another, and taking the feet a little bit distance, hip width distance in between the knees. Now go ahead and place your hands behind you, roll the shoulders slightly back, and just sit here in your modified reverse tabletop. Maybe it feels nice for you to let the knees just drop gently side to side. And please go ahead and do that. Or if you sit perfectly still and take a few breaths there. Just softening the body. We have nowhere but right here to be. Whilst you sit here, I will slowly start showing you our next posture. We will be staying seated. This is called a half butterfly, so the half of the posture that we just did. And there is quite a few variations. I will show you my favorite one. So I'm going to bring the right foot into sort of this half butterfly, but bring the foot up as close as if I was cross-legged, sitting cross-legged. Then my other leg, the left leg, I'll bring that to the side. If you do have a bolster, a big pillow or something, bring that under that left knee to support it so it doesn't go straight but has a little micro bend. Now from here, moving the upper body into a twist, facing towards that left leg, walking either onto forearms, maybe if the floor feels a little far away, you place under blocks. Or if you have a bit more space in your body, you can walk the hands all the way down the side of the foot and just letting the head rest. If you need something under your forehead, if that's nicer for you, then please take that option as well. Using the next breath or two to come properly into the posture, really taking your time to do this. And then eventually settling into the edge of your posture. And then using the breath to soften into that edge. Especially breathing into the right side of your body, finding space for every breath through softness. there becomes a bit more space in your body. The energy within you, the chi or the prana, flows a little easier the more you soften. Now taking final 3 deep rounds of breath on this side of your body. After that third exhalation, before you push yourself fully up, see if you can bring your hands firmly to the floor or to the props below you. Take a little pause on the way and see if you can stay soft around the hip and the spine as the hands and the arms are what is pushing you gently back. We keep soft in the area we just opened for energy. And as you arrive in the center, just taking another deep inhale through the nose and a soft exhale out the mouth. Beautiful work. Let's do the other side. So with the help from both your hands, you can bend into that left leg a little deeper. Slide out any props you may have underneath that leg. And then we switch to the other side. So bringing that left foot into the groin area like we were in our easy seat. And then bringing the right foot to the side. Maybe bringing props under that right leg. Just to ease a little bit on the hamstring and easier get into the joint. Alright, same story. When you're in your proper foundation, you feel good here. Twisting from the chest towards that right hand side. And then walking the hands down. Maybe you notice that there is difference on the sides. That is perfectly fine. Maybe staying on forearms or walking the hands even further forward and resting the head down to a block or to your leg. Knowing that in this practice it's perfectly fine to feel lazy and heavy. You can indeed sink into the floor using gravity in this practice. You breathe onto the left side of your body, breathing into your physical edge. from your toes to your fingers, and taking these final 3 deep rounds of breath. Then, similar to before, after your 3rd exhalation, bring some weight into your hands, maybe taking a little pause halfway or a quarter of the way, just to notice that you stay soft in the hip, in the back, as the hands are doing the work to bring the chest up. Real gently here, yeah. Respecting the body. And then as you arrive in your seat at upright position, full breath in through the nose, full breath out the mouth. Beautiful. Slowly coming full out of the posture, bringing both hands to that right knee this time, helping with the hands to bring the knee back into a bend position, and then just sliding out whatever you may have under that leg. Now from here, I'll just center myself. Let's just bring both legs up into the chest and take a little moment to let the hips even out. You can wrap the arms around your shins or wrap them around the thighs if that feels more natural to you. And just taking a few breaths here, letting the hips rest in towards the hip socket, releasing all the tissue that is traveling around. And taking a moment to notice how it is to just hold yourself here, being your own shelter, being that space where you can seek refuge if needed in the world right now. You have your body, your breath, yourself. Now slowly just releasing that grip around your legs and letting the upper body come to upright position. Then we're going to drop the knees down towards one side, towards sort of like a mermaid position, and then roll over the knees to bring the hands in front of you. Do not know why I rolled my R there. Pardon me. From all fours, we'll just move our full upper body down towards lying on the mat. And then bring your forearms forward. We will be moving into Sphinx Posture. The legs can just rest behind you if you need to have a bit of space between the heels. That's perfectly fine. If you do have a block or a large pillow or something, that might be nice to place under your forehead for this posture. And here you can really let yourself sink into the shoulders. Normally if we're in Sphinx in our Yang practice, we press away from floor. But here let yourself sink into the shoulder blades, let them meet each other in the back. And see if you can soften your belly fully down to the floor, increasing that lumbar curve, just letting everything in the hip area be exactly as it is. How much can you give into gravity? How much can you trust and let the body rest? If you feel that a train of thoughts is traveling through you, then know that it's perfectly okay not to get on that train, just letting it pass, giving it some space, being the space. And then slowly guiding yourself back to breath, back to body. If you do wish to go a little deeper in this physical posture, then you can choose to bend into the legs and just let the heels sort of flap down towards your seat. If that feels too much and creates a crunchy feeling in the back body, then don't bother. Just stretch out the legs again. Now slowly initiating these final 3 big rounds of breaths. Now if you do have your knees bent, just start with stretching them out, maybe tucking under the toes so you have a bit of support, and if you have a block or something in front of you, just sliding that to the side, giving yourself some space. Now switching just one hand under the shoulder at a time. And then from there with the toes tucked, just giving yourself a gentle push in the arms towards sort of a cobra. Lift the hip up and back. Now go ahead and take a moment here in all fours as a rebound posture, maybe giving yourself a few rounds of cat and cows. Or some of you may even want to use a downward facing dog as your rebound posture for this. So if you feel comfortable in down dog, definitely an option to go there, or staying on all fours for the next 5 rounds of breath. Now, if you find yourself in down dog, just slowly bringing the knees back down to the floor for all fours. From here, we will be moving towards a child's pose position. You can choose to have some space in between the knees, let the big toes come to touch, and just give yourself sort of a wide-legged posture. If you do love the use of props like me, then you can bring in one of your pillows or your blankets and just bring that underneath your trunk, and then allowing your entire upper body to sort of melt down over this. You can bring one ear to the bolster, and I will let you know when we're switching side. If you prefer to just lay in your perfect child's pose, then go ahead and do that. Your body is the most important body. See if you can allow the breath to bring you back to the moment that you're in. If you find yourself getting a little lost in the stream of thoughts that does not serve you right now. If you're daydreaming and just thinking good thoughts, then let them be there. But if you find yourself spiraling into worries or stress, then let your breath guide you back. And know that in this moment, all is well. In this moment, all is well. If you have one ear to the bolster or the pillow below you, just slowly lift the head and switch to the other side, evening out the neck. let the body relax a little further, just giving that to yourself. And in that way, letting the breath soften, maybe creating a bit of space between the thoughts. Gently initiating these final 3 little deeper, softer rounds of breath. And after that third and final exhalation, bringing your palms to the floor if they are not already, and maybe walking the hands slightly further away. And then in that way, using the hands to pull you slowly and gently forward, lifting hips up. And if you have props in front of you, just moving them to the side, bringing knees together or under the hip, and just take a moment in all fours like before. Maybe using a few rounds of cat-cows to rebound the body from the posture. Definitely also an option to take it back into a down dog, maybe even a wide-legged down dog. Just observing the body and the breath here. Taking your last 5 rounds of breath in your rebound postures. Now, if your knees are not already on the floor, then just gently bringing them there. And let's all sit the hip back towards the heels. Come onto a seat on our shins. Just pausing for a moment, palms facing up, resting on the legs. Coming back to whatever you showed up for today. Observing the breath, being in the body. And with the palms facing up, just taking a moment and offering our tapas or our discipline to show up on our mat. Offering that out into the world. Knowing that as you heal yourself, you are spreading love and light that we are in such need of right now. Gently from here, blinking eyes open, and we will move to final posture before Shavasana. Now, if you were not here in the beginning of the practice, you may not hear that we will be doing a leg up the wall posture, or with the legs resting on a chair. So just taking your time, and let's all come to a seat just next to our wall or next to our chair. And from here, with the hands behind you, slowly help yourself to lay down and sort of swing the legs up the wall. Sort of knuckle yourself into place. Legs can be straight, or you can place your feet on the wall and let the knees rest. Now, the closer you are to the wall, the more intense the straight leg version will be, and the same for the bent leg variation. Just choosing your option and letting the hands rest on your body or down the side. And as we come closer and closer to Shavasana, can you already now be preparing the body and the mind for this final rest posture? Being in your body as if you're already in Shavasana. Resting down on the mat. Now, if you're feeling very comfortable and grounded with the legs up the wall or resting on a chair, then just stay there for your Shavasana. That's perfectly okay. But if you do want to take yourself to Shavasana, as in lying down on the mat, just gently start bending into the knees and let them roll to the side of your body, coming into sort of a fetus position. And then bringing yourself out of the posture in the same way as we came in, using the hands to bring ourselves up to a seat. And then you can let the legs continue back around on your mat and come to your perfect Shavasana, maybe covering yourself with a blanket, using pillows, whatever you may need. And if your legs are still up the wall, that's perfectly fine. No matter what physical position you're finding yourself in right now, can you sort of set your breath a little more free and let the body get the last bit heavy? Can you enjoy? For this moment, you do not have to hold yourself. If you feel like you need a longer Shavasana or a longer pose with legs up the wall, then please just serve yourself and take your time. But if you do wish to round up the practice with me, you can slowly start deepening your breath. Maybe giving yourself a full body stretch with arms overhead, or bringing the knees into the chest for a hug. And then eventually just rolling softly onto either of your sides. And really just taking a moment here, lying on your side, letting the practice sink into your body and your nervous system the last bit. And then eventually coming all the way up to a seated posture, taking your time to land there, no rush. And then as we arrive in our seated posture, just bringing hands to heart center, closing down your eyes. And again, just like we started, noticing that right and left side connection. Thanking yourself for showing up to this practice. Maybe even giving yourself a little smile that you slowed down today and that you supported others in doing the same. Thank you so much for staying throughout this practice. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. If you're still watching, let me know how this practice was, how you're feeling right now. This is the only way we communicate right now, so I would love to see what you thought of the practice, or thank each other that joined in the practice. If you do wish to donate for this class, there is all the donation info on AntwerpYoga's page. I see some hearts popping up. Always a good virtual sign of love, right? If you have any questions or any comments whatsoever, text here and I will see it, or send me a direct message on Instagram or here. I hope you all enjoyed. How are you feeling? If you can be bothered writing, or if you're too tired. Either way, it's perfectly okay. Thank you so much. I enjoy doing these classes a lot. And I'm happy you joined. Took a little break. I will try and finish this now, so I'm not going to talk the whole evening. Thank you so much for joining. Send each other a thank you. Namaste, everyone. Take care.